Good morning. Good morning. The House will come to order. We stand for the flag salute. The flag salute will be led by Mark Johnson, Representative Mark Johnson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony will be presented by Dr. Bill Graybill, Peace Mentor from Albany, guest of Representative Andy Olson.
I grew up in the Vietnam era, and I remember we did not honor our vets, but today we're in a culture where we honor our vets, but I'm afraid we speak disparagingly of our leaders. So as a citizen of the state, I want to thank you for your effort today, because you are a gift from God. God gives government as a gift to his people, and you are set in place by God, and I want to thank you for that. A government protects the innocent, makes right injustice, and preserves the freedom. And I want today to ask God to help you do that well and with honor. Let us pray. Father in heaven, on this day we ask that the same spirit of wisdom that rested on Solomon rest on each individual in this chamber. May each one have the insight of Nehemiah into the solutions that are needed for this day. May the leadership mantle that guided Moses abide in this house and on its leadership. May this chamber, as it wrestles with the difficult decisions of finance and budget, have the compassion, grace, and wisdom of Jesus. May the unity needed to accomplish all things be fostered by each member. And with a grateful heart, we thank you that we are not alone in this world, but we can call upon you for wisdom. May God's grace, divine enablement, permeate this place this day. Amen.
Further courtesies. Our honorary pages today are Savannah Service from Gordon Russell Middle School from Gresham, sponsored by Representative Peluso. Austin Bannerman from Salem Academy Christian School. From Scotts Mills, sponsored by Representative Gilliam. Trenton Coons from West Albany High School, and Dylan Mills from North Albany Middle School. From Albany, sponsored by Representative Olson. Emmett Warner from Beverly Cleary, Portland, sponsored by Representative Smith Warner. Alexander Taylor from Selwood Middle School in Portland, sponsored by Representative Taylor. Further courtesies, Representative Olson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. Just a quick little introduction for Bill Graybill. He happens to be a neighbor across the road from me. He has a doctorate's degree, and he is an executive coach, trainer, speaker, adjunct professor, former pastor, and best-selling author. His focus is on conflict resolution, anger management, and organizational health. He currently serves as president of the Peace Mentors, a nonprofit organization dedicated to redemptive conflict resolution. Bill coaches individuals and teams in businesses and nonprofit organizations. With over 40 years of experience, he has brought understanding, a broad-based skill set, and passion to those he serves. He has also served as an instructor and member of Western Seminary Global University and also Kenya College Ministry. He and his wife Dorothy live in Albany with their dog Buddy, which I get a chance to see on occasion. And they have 2 married sons, Dan and Mark, and 4 grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further courtesies, Representative Esquivel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I would like to introduce my grandson, Oliver Thomas. He's 9 years old. He attends Madrone Charter School, Trail Charter School in Medford, and he excels in math and reading, which are his favorite subjects. Recently, he's competed in the state chess tournament in Portland with other students from across the state, and I'll tell you something, colleagues, you don't want to play him in chess. Oliver is one of our 5 grandsons, and we are very pleased to have him here with us this whole week. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Peluso.
Good morning, colleagues. I am happy to introduce Savannah Service, who is a page today. Savannah is an impressive young woman who is in the 8th grade at Gresham's Gordon Russell Middle School. Go Thunderbirds. Savannah has aspirations of attending Eastern Oregon University and ultimately holding elected office. And folks, she's already preparing to do this. She's been reading up on bills. She is incredibly interested in the way that K-12 education funding works. And I am excited to hear more of her concerns and ideas later this afternoon. Colleagues, please extend your courtesies to Savannah and her father, who is also here with her today. And Savannah, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to extend courtesies here to my son, Alexander Taylor, who is 13 years old. He's working as a page here today. I happen to be the president of my son's fan club, and he has many, many interests, and I won't go into too much detail, but I'm so terribly proud of him, and I'm so glad that he's decided to spend one of his precious spring break days here with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Gorsuch.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This morning, I'd like you to extend courtesies to my new intern, Sky Troy. Sky is from my college, Mount Hood Community College. She is ironically interested in politics and plans to go on to higher education once she leaves Mount Hood, and is currently in student government. So if you see her around, please extend courtesies. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Smith-Warner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, I rise today to ask that you extend courtesies to my first page and also my firstborn, Emmett J. Warner, who I am happy to have here getting a little bit better sense of what we do here generally and what I do specifically when I come to Salem every day. He is a 6th grader at Beverly Cleary School in Northeast Portland. He will be 12 on Saturday, is his birthday, and he is a very enthusiastic lacrosse and football player. He is also a big reader and has been on an Oregon Battle of the Books team at his school the last 3 years, including last year their team, speaking of pie, won the school-wide competition at Beverly Cleary School. So if you see him on the floor, you'll know it's him because he takes his clothing cues from the good representative from Beaverton Aloha, from across from whom he is sitting. And please extend courtesies. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further courtesies? Seeing none? Verification of quorum. The clerk will open the voting system to determine the presence of a quorum. Excused, Representative Gilliam. A quorum is present. Messages from the Governor. Messages from the Senate.
Madam Speaker, I'm directed by the President to inform you the Senate has passed Senate Bills 29, 28, 142, 267, 371, 378, 520, 584, 594, 684, 699, adopted SCR 8 and 9, concurred in House amendments, and repassed Senate Bill 611. Madam Speaker, I'm directed by the President to inform you that he has signed Senate Bills 5543, 152, 333, and 605.
First readings, memorials, and resolutions.
SCR 8 in memoriam, Blaine Whipple, 1930 to 2015. SCR 9 recognizing Portland Winterhawks for 4 consecutive Western Conference championships.
Measures read first time are passed to the Speaker's desk for referral. Standing committee reports. Committee report file number 35 has been distributed. Special committee reports. Propositions and motions. First readings of House bills.
House Bill 3503 relating to offenders with minor children. House Bill 3504 relating to paid sick leave tax credit and prescribing an effective date.
Bills read first time are passed to the Speaker's desk for referral. Second readings of House bills.
House Bill 2386 relating to enforcement authority of the Commissioner of Bureau and Labor and Industries.
Second reading of House bills. Bill read for second time in advance for consideration under propositions and motions. Consent calendar. Third reading of House bills. The clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 2357 relating to firearms and declaring an emergency.
Question now arises upon the third reading and final passage of House Bill 2357A. Representative Barker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, House Bill 2357 comes to you from the House Judiciary Committee, where it passed unanimously. Current law prohibits the carrying of firearms in public places, but it includes exemptions for police officers while they're acting in the scope of employment. This language is vague and has been inconsistently enforced across the state. House Bill 2357 merely clarifies that police officers, whether on or off duty, have the same right to carry concealed weapons in public places as individuals with valid concealed handgun licenses. The bill also clarifies this right to honorably retired police officers. It's a good bill, minimal fiscal impact, deserves your aye vote. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Barker, do you wish to close?
I do not.
He does not. Those who are of the opinion that the bill should pass will vote aye, and those opposed no. The clerk will open the voting system. Representative Gomberg, how do you vote? House Bill 2357, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. The clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 2424 relating to the possession of certain weapons by authorized staff and declaring an emergency.
The question arises upon third reading and final passage of House Bill 2424. Representative Krieger.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 2424 with the -3 comes to you from the Judiciary Committee by unanimous vote. Section 2, Chapter 88 of the Oregon Laws 2014 currently allows a corrections officer employed by the department to possess a firearm in the officer's personal vehicle and the vehicle is parked in a department parking lot. House Bill 2424 expands those who can possess a firearm to include employees of the department and employees of the State Board of Parole and Post-Prison Supervision and Oregon Corrections Enterprises who are assigned to work in or at a public building owned or occupied by the department. The bill also requires the staff members to store the firearms in a container specifically designed for the storage of firearms inside a vehicle. It's a good bill. I ask for your support.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Krieger, do you wish to close? He does not. Those who are of the opinion that the bill should pass will vote aye, and those opposed, no. The clerk will open the voting system. Representative Williamson, how do you vote? Representative McEwen, how do you vote? Representative votes aye. Representative Helm, how do you vote? Representative Barker? House Bill 2424, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. The clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 2628, relating to courts' protective stalking orders and declaring an emergency.
Question now arises upon the third reading and final passage of House Bill 2628. Representative Leininger.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, colleagues, I bring you House Bill 2628, which will make sure that no one who is a victim of stalking is unable to obtain a protective order because they can't afford one. You may have heard the story of a Eugene woman, a young woman who was born in Eugene, went on to become a successful actress, but in 1989 in California, she was shot to death by a man who had been stalking her for 3 years. We all know that that's not right, and in fact, stalking is far too prevalent. Every year in Oregon, there are 2,100 incidents in which people are subjected to unwanted following, intimidation, and stalking for which they need help. House Bill 2628 would help get at a narrow piece of that issue. It would make sure that folks who are seeking a stalking protective order and related relief do not have to pay a filing fee for that protective order. Not only will that make sure that nobody is deprived of this protection because they can't afford to pay for it, but it will also help us safeguard some important money, federal grant money, that flows into Oregon. The Federal Violence Against Women Act requires that these orders be available for free. Right now, we're actually out of compliance. When we had testimony on this bill, Judge Maureen McKnight from Multnomah County expressed concern that $400,000 in grant money under VAWA was in jeopardy because we have this conflict with federal eligibility requirements. So the bill we have today will help people stay safe. It will help us be eligible for really important money to keep families safe from violence, and it will have negligible fiscal or revenue impact because it's really a very small number of cases right now that are currently not covered by the bill. It passed out of committee unanimously, and I think it would be wonderful if we could all support this bill. Thank you very much. I urge your support.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Leininger, do you wish to close? She does not. Those who are of the opinion that the bill should pass, vote aye, and those of the opinion no. The clerk will open the voting system. Representative Parrish, how do you vote? Representative Greenlick, how do you vote? House Bill 2628, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. The clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 2886 relating to vehicle dealer exemptions.
Question now arises upon the third reading and final passage of House Bill 2886. Representative Gorsuch.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I bring to you today House Bill 2886, legislation that passed unanimously out of committee and will clarify an important issue for our constituents. Currently in the state of Oregon, anyone who buys and sells motor vehicles is required to have a motor vehicle dealer certification. However, current statute is somewhat ambiguous when it comes to individuals who buy or sell vehicles for dealers at dealer-only auctions. Multiple out-of-state dealerships are represented at these auctions as a means to bring in fresh inventory and move their stale models. Rather than assuming the cost of travel to and from these large auctions, many dealers hire locally based individuals to buy and sell on their behalf. Current statutes state that the practice of retaining an independent contractor to buy and sell on behalf of a dealer would violate both dealer laws and independent contractor statutes. As you may be aware, an independent contractor is required to have all of the requirements to work independent of the business for which they are providing services. If these contractors were to be truly independent, they would already have the certification and not be using their employer's certification. Currently, these contractors are also able to purchase vehicles and sell them to end users without being a licensed or certified dealer, which completely circumvents the law. This is known as curbing or curbstoning and should be a violation of the law. Therefore, I believe independent contractors should be certified dealers rather than acting under the purview of someone else's certification. And I ask that you join me and the House Committee on Transportation and Economic Development in supporting this bill. Good bill should pass, and I urge an aye vote. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Gorsuch, do you wish to close? He does not. Those who are of the opinion that the bill should pass will vote aye, and those opposed, no. The clerk will open the voting system. Representative Clem, how do you vote? Representative Barton, how do you vote? Representative McLean, how do you vote? Representative Springer, how do you vote? She's an aye. House Bill 2886, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. The clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 2957 relating to local elections and declaring an emergency.
Question now arises upon the third reading and final passage of House Bill 2956. Representative Barnhart?
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Excuse me. Representative Barnhart.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 2957 establishes specific election dates for elections in county, city, and district measures that are not referred to the people by county governing bodies, city governing bodies, or district elections authorities. It declares an emergency as effective on passage, does not have either revenue nor fiscal impact, and will actually reduce costs for elections because it will improve the likelihood that more than one issue will be on the ballot at the same time. Under the current law, it's very possible for a measure which is referred by petition to appear on a ballot by itself and thus incur significant expense on the part of the district, the city, or the county. Colleagues, I urge an aye vote.
Further discussion. Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To the bill.
To the bill.
I was a no vote in committee, and I'd like to explain why I was. This is billed as a money-saving measure, which it really won't save much compared to some other things I'll talk about here in just a moment. This bill really makes citizens wait for their initiatives and referendums to be voted upon. It makes it impossible for them to use March or September dates. So really this tilts the balance of power between county governments and the citizens in favor of county governments here. We've shown by a previous vote that we are not shy about asking county election departments to pony up for the elective process. This really doesn't do much for them at all. But it does make it very significant, and that is the fact that the citizens in your community who bring forth initiative petitions and referendums will be forced to wait in a way that their very own county and city governments are not asked to wait. So for that reason, I voted no, and I hope you will too join me in voting no on House Bill 2957A. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, Representative Neerman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To the bill.
To the bill.
So I echo the opinions of my colleague from Grants Pass. If this is about saving money, why don't we put it to the counties also? The counties are more likely to put a levy on the ballot than a humble citizen. I guess I'm not a humble citizen anymore, am I? But anyway, I would say that if this is really about saving money, then let's put it to the counties too. If it's about democracy, then let's let the citizens have the equal access to the ballot box that the county governments do. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Barnhart, do you wish to close? He does not. Those who are of the opinion that the bill should pass will vote aye, and those opposed, no. The clerk will open the voting system. Representative Barker, how do you vote? House Bill 2957, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. The clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 2969, relating to activities permitted at certified smoke shops and declaring an emergency.
Question now arises upon the third reading and final passage of House Bill 2969. Representative Post.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, there's an old saying, a Kodak moment. Today is your Kodak moment, if those of you are old enough to remember that. This will be the one time probably in this entire session that you will hear me carry and speak to and urge a yes vote for my bill. This is Bill's bill. So that I wanted to preface with that. What I bring to you is House Bill 2969, which is what I believe to be a way to rectify an unintended consequence of good intentions. The Indoor Clean Air Act, which was brought about in the 2007 legislature, and shortly thereafter, after it passed, the question came up, what do we do about these cigar shops? After a lot of deliberation in the legislature, both the House and the Senate, there was a lot of negotiation, a lot of work, and eventually a bill was put forth that exempted certain cigar shops if they met certain criteria. And it was pretty stringent criteria. And in fact, you can read that if you'd like. It's entertaining. It's OAR 333.015-0068. So shops were exempted, new shops coming in if they met these requirements. There were some shops that were already in business. Those were grandfathered in if they met those same requirements. Now, one of those requirements that was in the statute was the line that said basically this: you could not sell, offer, or allow on-premise consumption of food or beverages. When I first became aware of this was when my son, when he was 21 years old, he started to work at one of the local cigar shops, and he called me his first day of work, and he said, "Dad, I can't eat lunch at work." What? He said, "Remember, it says no food or drink allowed on premises." I said, "Well, that's crazy." So One of the goals when I got here was to try to fix that language of that statute. I thought that there's no way that could be right, but it was true. There was also the idea of a customer who would walk into the store holding a cup of coffee or a bottle of water, and the owner of the stores would have to say, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm sorry, sir, you can't bring that into the store." And so there's a loss of business. And we've watched that happen over the last 2 or 3 years as that's gone on. Now, these shops, want to be clear, do not want to sell or offer food or drink. That's not the business they're in. But they want to allow their employees to have the food or drink, and they want to allow the customers if they want to bring in a cup of coffee or a bottle of water. So my bill specifically speaks to the allowing on premises of food or non-alcoholic drink. We're not looking to create a party atmosphere. I want to be sure that you understand this is not a smoking or non-smoking issue. That's already been decided. The smoke shops that were exempted under this criteria are already allowing smoking. What we're talking about is the right to eat or drink at work and the right for a business to decide if you, as a customer, can have a cup of coffee, bottle of water, or so forth. I want to add this. The Oregon Health Authority, which was first established these statutes and then now oversees the exemption process, wrote to me and the Business and Labor Committee on March 13th. This statement is very important. This came from Oregon Health Authority. It says, quote, "As currently written, the Public Health Division does not have any concerns with House Bill 2969 and can easily incorporate these changes into our procedures," unquote. And that's one of the reasons I'm here in this building is I'm for common sense. And this is a common sense bill. It establishes a fair playing field for employees and customers at these already certified exempted cigar shops, which I might add, by the way, there is only, as far as I know, 3 left in the state that we're talking about. So I would urge a yes vote on House Bill 2969, and I thank you for your time.
Further discussion, Representative Hoyle.
Colleagues, I want to thank my good colleague from Kaiser, St. Paul, and Newburgh. That's where you're from, right? Yes. For bringing this bill forward. This is indeed a common sense bill that is pro-worker, that is pro-business. It's a good bill, should pass.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Widener.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I would like the Senate to look at it because this is a good bill and it should pass, but I don't think it goes far enough. I mean, these are businesses and they should be allowed to actually sell food there. So I will be a no on this bill just so the Senate will take a sharper look at it and looking at amending it on the other side. So thank you very much.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Post, do you wish to close? No, he does not. Those who are of the opinion that the bill should pass will vote aye, and those opposed, no. The clerk will open the voting system.
Voting yes, yes, it's Clem. Clem votes aye. Voting yes is Williamson, Hurd, Parrish, Barreto, the Speaker, Leininger, Witt, Smith-Warner. Nose votes aye. Nose. Mike McLean votes aye. Huffman. Reed. I did. It's hanging out in the back. He votes aye.
House Bill 2969, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Again. Final readings, memorials, and resolutions. Bills, reports, and other business lying on the table. First readings of Senate bills.
Senate Bill 28 relating to duties of elections officers. Senate Bill 29 relating to precinct committee persons. Senate Bill 142 relating to motor carriers. Senate Bill 267 relating to a pilot program for the temporary transfer of water use within a district. Senate Bill 371 relating to notice of closure of workers' compensation claims and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 378 relating to dogs. Senate Bill 520 relating to vaccinations administered by pharmacists and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 584 relating to certifications of disadvantaged business enterprises and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 594 relating to credentialing of healthcare practitioners. Senate Bill 684 relating to limited license to practice medicine and declaring an emergency. Senate Bill 699 relating to cosmetology disciplines and declaring an emergency.
Bills read for first time are passed to the Speaker's desk for referral. Second readings of Senate bills. Third readings of Senate bills. Other business of the House. Other business of the Senate. Orders of the day have been completed. Announcements? Representative Davis.
Colleagues, just a reminder that today is Wednesday and we have legislative fellowship open to all legislators in room 357 right behind the House Gallery, starting at promptly at 12:10 and ending promptly at 12:50 so we can all get to our committees. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, I just want to bring to your attention something that I saw in an Oregonian article yesterday that caught my attention, and it gives me some concern. I just wanted to share some thoughts with you about it, but it was a quote related to the budget that was passed out of the Education Subcommittee yesterday. And it said that, quote, it would be foolhardy and irresponsible of school districts to not support a guaranteed floor that will give them certainty in April, which is budget making season. And, it came from a prominent member of our body, and I understand how sometimes we can all say things, throughout the course of a day or out the course of a session. Certainly we always like to walk back comments sometimes, but as one of more than 1,400 locally elected school board members in the state of Oregon, I really got to tell you that, I take some offense, and it gives me some concern to hear these kind of comments. Because what it says to me and my fellow board members and our teachers and our parents and our students all across this state is that we just aren't able to make good judgments about what our needs are and about how to take care of our students. And it says to us that when we insist that the $7.255 billion budget, K-12 budget, is a cuts budget because it will not compensate for both year-over-year roll-up costs and the expansion of all-day kindergarten as well, that, somehow we're being foolhardy and irresponsible. School board members pride themselves on one thing, and that's trying to do what's best for kids. Every day, every week when we show up, or every other week when we show up for our meetings, we sit down, we say, we put all our differences aside, let's focus on doing what's best for kids. But the K-12 budget that has passed out of the Ed Subcommittee will result in laying off teachers. It's going to result in higher class sizes. It's going to result in fewer quality academic programs for school districts across this state. And it's pretty hard for me, and it's pretty hard for my 1,400 other brothers and sisters as school board members to say that this is going to be good for kids. So I recently saw some focus group data that said that K-12 funding is the #1 education issue for Oregonians. It's not STEM, it's not CTE, it's not higher ed. Those are all great things. But the #1 issue for Oregonians is K-12 funding. So I just want to challenge us to keep that in mind as we begin voting on budgets that's coming in these coming days and weeks. And let's do what we can to fix this situation, and let's do what's best for kids. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Kenny Geyer.